Hello, Advanced Art. I hope everybody's doing good. Sorry, I'm not going to be in most of this. It's just easier to show it this way. So, today in our Zoom class, Audrey wanted me to show watercolor sunsets. I think it's Audrey. Sorry. And then I think it's Chriselle or Rachel wanted me to show you how to mix acrylic colors. So I'm going to do some more techniques and show you how to do some more blending first. But the first thing I'm going to do is a watercolor because I just gessoed my canvas over there. And hopefully I can show you some fun things to do. Hey! Alright, my washer's going, so I hope it's not too loud. Watercolors. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sketch. I thought maybe I had a pencil here. I think I took it and put it away. Pause for a second. Okay, so first you start with your horizon line. So the horizon, where the sun, or where the sky meets the earth or the sea. I'm just going to do a sea one here. So I'm going to have my sunrise, sunset. There. First thing we're going to do is the sky. And if you want any white in your sky for watercoloring, you need to leave that area white. So let's start with some fun blue colors. I like to use the round brush. Oh dear. There we go. Let me get my canvas on so you can see. Oh dear, it's falling off the table. I'm so sorry. Hold. Pause. Alright, I'm back. Alright, so I'm going to get my brush pretty wet, and I'm going to wet my surface. And I'm having water jump everywhere. And grab my rag. So just go ahead and wet your paintbrush here. Paintbrush. Wet your paper with your paintbrush and water. So this is wet on wet is what we're doing. This is one technique you can do. It makes skies really fun. So then I'm going to take just some water. And I've got leftover paint in here. I'm just going to... Oh dear. I am going to use... And I'm going to start over here. It's going to start putting down some paint, just in some fun little areas. I just like to do, you can see that okay what I'm doing. Just kind of dabbing your paint, and this is pretty watery. I'm just going to show you what happens when you do a little thicker areas. I'm going to do some darkers in here. Just a little more color. It's going to be a lot darker and vibrant if you have bright colors, and I'm not sure what that is. A piece of hair, I think. A hairball. Okay, so we're just going to put some paint. Now, the really fun thing to do with your paintbrush is get some color. What you're going to do is, I call this pushing your paint. So you're going to take your brush and you're just going to push it into the other. So this part, this is the light blue that I did first, and I'm not going into it very much. I'm just pushing the paint into it a little bit, and then I rinse my brush, and then just touch it a little bit more around the edges. Do you see how this part that I just touched is more blended compared to this part down here that I haven't touched yet? Just kind of dab it along the edge of the two colors, and that will give you some fun effects. And then you can pull your paint down into this white area. I'm just going to put a little bit more blue. Let's bring it over here on this side. My paper's already drying, so I'm going to wet it again. And you can do this in sections because sometimes paint does that. Paper. Sometimes your paper will dry on you. All right. Now, got another palette that's full of paint. It's going to use a little brighter colors. And that might be a little too bright for me, so I'm just going to water it down pretty good. But it's fun to throw it in here and there. It's just kind of fun. You just dabble. Dabble, dabble, dabble. And your paintbrush is kind of just wiggling. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Get some of those colors in there. And a little bit more of the darker color. And I got some yellow in it. So, let's make it a little green. I didn't really want to do yellow, so I'm just going to pull that in. So I do a lot of rinsing just because I like my watercolors to be really wet. I just think it's fun to watch what the paints do. When you add more paint in, they kind of disperse and do their own thing. It's always been fun. And around, I think this should be a sunrise. What do you think? Sunrise be good? I have a palette. Oh, sorry. Make you guys dizzy. Palette here, it's very, very old. But I like it because it's got some really fun, vibrant colors in it. So I'm going to take the yellow that's here. There's another yellow, but I like this one. There's some green in here, so I'm going to dab that out. Some tissue. I'm going to rinse it. Alright. Take that. And I want to do the sun really yellow and bright. And just let that dry. That's my first coat. And I want to do some more blue in the sky. I love doing skies. They're so fun. Just put your color right in and add water. It just really makes a fun, looks like a fun little cloud there. Sorry, here's my washer. I'm going to have to pause. Okay, did you guys hear the washer? That's why my son thought it was the earthquake, because it's super loud and makes the house shake. Alright, let's go down here. I'm just leaving. This paper is getting really bumpy, so it's forming puddles. Let's just go down like this. Okay. Now for the water, I want my reflection to be... Do you guys like misplaced stuff as much as I do? It's under a rag. Okay, so the reflection of the sun is just out a little further. I'm going to erase this line here. Lighter colors, it's really hard to get rid of your pencil line, so you want to try and erase it so it's not super dark. Okay, so I'm going to fill in that yellow, but I'm going to do it a little lighter. Okay, now we're going to take some other colors and we're going to go over this in just a minute. So it'll look like a reflection. All right, so now my ocean. Where should be my ocean? I do really like this color. But at the same time, do I want it the same color as the sky? I think I need to change it up a little bit. All right, so I'm going to get my flat brush because this is a big area. And I'm only going to do about half of my paper because it will dry before I get down to the other part. I am just spreading this liberally around. And it doesn't hurt to use this brush with to do the ocean. So I'm just going to do back and forth motion. And you don't have to paint all the areas, you can leave some white. Ooh, that got a lot of color in it, that's fun. So we're just going back and forth. Oh, I really want to erase this, so I'm going to let it dry before I put the color in. I'm going to get the rest of this wet. Uh-oh. That wasn't completely dry, so it's going to bleed down into my ocean, which sometimes is just fine. It's kind of fun. All right, I'm going to add a little bit darker blue. We're just going to get some lines going. I'm going to try and erase these lines here. No, it's not going to work. I'm just going to smear it. I could blow dry, but then that would go away. That would drive the paints all over the paper. And I don't really want it to run. I'm just putting in a darker color here. So I want you guys to keep working on your abstract. It was really fun to see your artwork that you did. You've been working on. I love to see your creativity. Juices flow. I'm not really liking the darkness right here because I didn't want it that dark. So I'm going to let this dry. Well, first I'm going to do this. Okay, now we let it dry. I'm going to show you. I'm just going to show you how to mix some acrylic colors. We talked about mixing colors and how to make them blend. I'm going to pause you for a second. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate how to do, like a tree branch. I've got 3 colors here. I've got a darker brown, raw sienna, and white. And I'm going to make a tree branch, okay? So I'm just going to make my branch. Where's the best place to paint? Right here. I'm just going to make a tree branch. Or here's the base of the tree. And make a little branch that comes out. And a little knot. Well, I'll show you both on the branch and the trunk. So this is the tree trunk. It's going to come down like this. Now, it's fun to do it while it's still wet. You can work with it. So I'm just going to dip in my dark paint, and I'm going to take it on the one side, and I'm going to paint a shadow. This is how we do our shadows. Just going to keep painting. And underneath the underside of this branch, you're going to see a shadow because it's darker. That's where the shadow is going to lie. So I'd put it underneath. And this side as well. Now, here's where some mixing comes into play. I'm going to rinse your brush really good. And dry it off a bit because you don't want it too wet. And you're just going to, with just a wet brush, I'm just going to blend, again, that line. You're just going to take that line away. Taking that line away, you don't want to go too far to the edge of it, of the dark, but you don't want to go too far this way either. So do you see the contrasting line right here? I'm going to get in closer. There's a contrasting line right in here. Make sure you can see it. And you're just going to take your brush, you smooth that out. So you're going to smooth it out to this side. And you're going to rinse your brush again. And make sure it's not too wet. And then you're going to smooth out this side. So if it's too wet, then you get your paint gets a little too, it doesn't work right. It just doesn't work. So you still have that darker color, but it's a little more blended. And some people like to do this. Let's say we're doing our brown here like this. Some people like to just leave it. That's if you're doing more of an abstract look. You just leave that dark there, and it looks nice. Other people like to do kind of it's just like a little back and forth motion. It's like you're erasing that line there, and that works too. Go the other way, back and forth. Get a little zigzaggy. And then you get just a really fun texture in there as well. Now let's add a little light color. So I'm going to mix a little of the white and the raw sienna to get our highlight. And sometimes it's kind of fun not to mix it all the way. You got some colors going. So on this side I'm going to do the light. So like the light's going to be hitting this side of the trunk. And again, it's going to hit the top here. And for some people, they might want to just leave it like that. And then other people might want to do a little blending into those two colors. If you leave it too long, like I said, this underpaint color, the raw sienna, just the solid raw sienna will dry, and you're going to lose that ability to blend them together. Okay? Now, there is another way. I'm going to show you. So, ta-da. Oh, so I made a little knot right up here. I made it kind of a bump. It's kind of one of the fun things to do. And it always seems like there's just a little bit of brown right in here. There. And then on this other side, this top part, you got the highlight. It's kind of disappearing. Highlight. Ugh, it's just too wet. All right. It's going to have this highlight color. And And then I want to take a little bit of the raw sienna in this darker brown color and mix it. So it's not like as dark. But then you're going to just do a little, it's not dark enough. Just do a little, kind of a little curvature around that dot. So that curvature, you want to get rid of this bottom half of it. So you're going to blend that into the raw sienna. And I'm adding just a little raw sienna here to kind of fade it out. All right, I'm going to show you another way you can shade this tree. Let me get some more raw sienna. Okay, this is another way I've learned to paint. This brush is going to work. All right, so we're going to take the raw sienna, paint another tree trunk. Okay, tree trunk. And we got another stem. Stem, branch, limb. Okay. All right. Now, we're going to stick to the dark side being over there. And I don't know if this is the best paintbrush, so I'm going to pause it really quick. Okay, with this technique, you can actually let this dry. And I have two brushes here. One is an angled brush, and this is specifically used for the technique I'm going to show you, but this one you can also use it. It's just a flat 1/2 inch brush. All right, so I'm going to get it wet. Just wet those bristles down, and then I'm going to drain some of that water out. So you just hold it down until the water seeps to the bottom. I'm going to show you with this brush. It's got kind of a crazy hair. So I'm going to do this other side where it's not crazy. And I'm going to dip. Okay, sorry. I am going to dip the corner of my paintbrush right in here. Now, if you want to get some wax paper or something for this next part, you're going to want to, there's not quite enough water, so I'm just adding a little more water. You're going to want to pull. This one takes practice because you have to have the right amount of water and the right amount of paint, because you only want your paint to be on that corner piece. So you only want your paint to be on that corner. So what I'm going to do, of course I'm facing the wrong way, I'm going to pull up along the edge like this. And what it does is it puts the darkest part paint on the edge, and because it's angled, it's going to be lightened as it goes up. So there again, just get your corner wet and drag. What I'm doing is I'm dragging the paint across. And that's probably kind of a big brush for that little area. But with the light side, I'm going to show you with this angled brush. And it's the same technique. You get your brush wet, and I'm just going to do it with the white, just to give you an idea. I'm going to rinse it again. Okay, just get enough paint on it. You're going to dip it in your color, just the corner, and then you want to wipe off that excess. And we're just going to drag that down. And like I said, you can wait till the dark brown dries. So do you see how that works? Dip it in the corner and then get off the excess on the bottom, and then the paint on the top will seep through. So we're going to pull down the paint. So that gives you, but it helps if this raw sienna is dry, so it doesn't take off the paint with the water, because what you're doing is that water's pushing down and fading that white into the color. So you want your background to be dry first. Okay, I hope this helped. And I don't know if you have to turn your video sideways. I'm sorry about that. But if you have any other questions, there we go. I'll look in the eye of the camera. You have any other questions, just let me know. I hope that I answered the two things. I'm going to post a couple tutorials for sunsets as well, because those are always fun to watch. So hope you have a great day. Bye.